Hey guys, tonight we're diving headfirst into a drift of nostalgia, consumerism, and glittering tinsel. This is the story of how 1950s America didn't just celebrate Christmas, it engineered it, upsized it, wrapped it up, and sent it around the globe like the biggest fruitcake ever made. Before you settle in, take a quiet second to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. No obligations. Drop a comment telling me where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. And if it's after midnight, you're in bed, and there's a snack nearby, you're doing this exactly right. Now dim the lights. Turn on a fan to fake that icy North Pole feeling. Get comfortable. Maybe wrap yourself in a blanket so aggressively festive it irritates your sinuses. Tonight, you're stepping into a world of aluminum Christmas trees, department store Santas, and mid-century Americans so saturated with eggnog and advertising jingles that even their pajamas carried more holiday spirit than most people manage in a lifetime. Let's pause here for a moment. Have you ever wondered what Christmas felt like before everything was plastic and blinking? Why Americans suddenly started mailing billions of Christmas cards to people they actively avoid? Who decided fruitcake deserved to exist? Was there ever a time when tinsel was considered a choking hazard instead of a toddler's snack? Why does the rest of the world think Christmas tastes like Coca-Cola? And what was it like to wake up in an era when your biggest holiday stress was untangling 50 yards of extension cord for 5 fragile glass bulbs and maybe worrying that your neighbor's lawn reindeer were winning the Cold War? Congratulations, you've just woken up in 1954. Wearing pajamas with a waistband you don't fully understand, and you're about to discover how America sold Christmas to the world. Good luck. Congratulations again. You now live in a neighborhood so new, the trees are still in shock from being planted. It's the era of identical ranch homes and perfect lawns. Snow is falling, Bing Crosby is on the radio, and your job is to pretend that every blinking light on the block is not the start of a UFO invasion. Let's set the scene. You wake up in a bedroom the size of a postage stamp. Sunlight is already bouncing off the frost on your windows. Windows that incidentally are so thin that a determined squirrel could probably break in and start a family. The world outside is blanketed in pristine snow. At least until someone's kid tries to build a snow fort and immediately gives up to go watch cartoons. There's a plastic wreath on your door, and a vague sense that yes, every single house on this street is an architectural clone of yours, right down to the weird spot in the living room where the carpet never quite lays flat. Step outside for the morning paper. Don't slip. The driveway has been freshly glazed with that special suburban blend of ice and the hopes of municipal salt trucks everywhere. Your neighbor, Mr. Jenkins' eyes already out in his robe, nervously checking to see if his new string of imported Italian lights outshines the competition. There's an unspoken suburban arms race happening here. One where peace on earth is interpreted as victory through maximum illumination. The result, a block that glows so brightly it could probably be seen from space, or at least from the next county. You hear it before you see it. The cheerful clatter of aluminum garbage cans and the faint, unmistakable sound of Christmas music blasting from a portable transistor radio. Bing Crosby crunches White Christmas with all the gentle menace of a man who knows you have exactly 6 days left to buy gifts and you haven't started yet. It's a soundtrack you'll hear everywhere, in the car, in the grocery store, in the dentist's office, probably even in your dreams by New Year's. Inside, the scent of percolating coffee mixes with the plastic and pine aroma of your brand new fire-retardant artificial tree. The tree is decorated with glass ornaments that could shatter if you look at them funny. There's tinsel, so much tinsel. Tinsel in your socks, tinsel in the cat, tinsel migrating as if by magic to your lunch. You get the sense that tinsel is less a decoration and more an invasive species. The only thing more persistent is the smell of whatever mystery casserole is slowly solidifying in your neighbor's kitchen next door. The living room is a shrine to comfort and conformity. You've got a kidney-shaped coffee table, a TV the size of a Buick, and an ashtray on every surface, because nothing says Christmas in the 50s like smoking indoors with the windows shut tight. In the corner, the family Christmas card list has reached alarming proportions. You're expected to send cards to everyone you've ever met, including your dentist and that one cousin who moved to Minnesota and now only writes in all caps. Dinner plans are already underway. There's talk of a holiday block party, which will feature Jell-O salads in colors not found in nature, and a ham so salty it could double as a preservation method for ancient manuscripts. The kids are outside launching snowballs with military precision, pausing only to stare in awe at the neighbor's giant illuminated Santa. A Santa so large, he looks like he could declare martial law at any moment. And through it all, there's a strange sense of peace. You're safe, snug, surrounded by enough Christmas lights to power a small moon. Sure, there's competition, anxiety, and the low-grade existential dread that your house might be mistaken for a landing strip by passing aircraft. But in this glowing, caffeinated Bing Crosby soundtracked suburbia, you're living the dream, one blinking bulb at a time. And as night falls and the world outside is painted with 1,000 shimmering colors, you crawl into bed, tuck the blankets up to your chin, and whisper a quiet suburban prayer. Please let the lights stay on until morning, and please let my neighbor's inflatable reindeer deflate with dignity this year. You used to imagine Street Nick as a mysterious, slightly ominous figure. Now, thanks to Madison Avenue, he's everywhere. On billboards, in malls, at the bank, and occasionally your living room if you leave the door unlocked. Let's be honest, Santa has undergone a serious brand refresh. Once upon a time, he was a shadowy character lurking at the edge of folklore, part gift giver, part home invader, part cautionary tale to keep kids in line. But this is 1950s America, and now he's been upgraded, rebranded, and mass-produced. The result, a Santa so friendly, so hygienic, so plump and twinkly-eyed, he looks less like he's judging your life choices and more like he's about to offer you a second helping of Jell-O salad. Your first sighting of Santa each year is no longer a matter of mystical timing. It's strategic. He appears in department stores the moment Halloween is legally dead, perched on a throne that looks suspiciously like it was repurposed from a window display. His beard is fluffy, his suit is impossibly red, thanks in no small part to the Coca-Cola company, which apparently owns the color red and possibly the North Pole itself. There are elves, or at least local teenagers in pointed hats, herding children through velvet ropes with the kind of crowd control you'd expect at a rock concert. If you're under 7, it's magic. If you're a parent, it's 3 hours of your life you'll never get back, and a blurry Polaroid of your child screaming on Santa's lap to remember it by. Santa has become the face of Christmas commerce. He's not just in malls, he's on cereal boxes, in car commercials, and endorsing everything from electric razors to vacuum cleaners. If it can be gift-wrapped, Santa has probably smiled next to it in a full-page magazine ad. Need a new savings account? Your local bank has a Santa on retainer, ready to hand you a peppermint while you refinance your mortgage. Forget naughty or nice. The real list is who's paying Santa's appearance fee this season. But it's not just corporate America cashing in. Your local community wants a piece of the North Pole too. School Christmas pageants now require a Santa cameo, played by whichever gym teacher can endure a pillow-stead costume and the persistent smell of fake beard glue. The fire department. Santa arrives on the back of a shiny red truck, tossing candy cans at speeds that should probably be regulated by the FAA. Your neighborhood parade. You'd better believe there's a Santa on every float, waving at crowds with the kind of manic energy that only comes from knowing you're contractually obligated to be merry for 8 consecutive hours. At home, Santa is everywhere. He's in your pajamas. He's on your cookie tin. He's the subject of every Christmas special on television. Each version slightly different, but all with that patented jolliness turned up to 11. Even the dog is wearing a Santa hat, and he hates it. There's a Santa figurine lurking on every surface, each one grinning with a silent message. Consume, decorate, repeat. For kids, this new Santa is less a myth and more a seasonal coworker. Letters must be written, lists compiled, cookies baked, surveillance is implied. Santa sees you when you're sleeping, and apparently so does the neighbor's inflatable lawn Santa, glowing eerily through the curtains at 3 a.m. The pressure is on. Be good. Smile for photos. Don't cry on the man in the suit. And maybe, just maybe, you'll get that cap gun, hula hoop, or disturbingly lifelike baby doll you saw on TV. But for adults, there's a certain nostalgia in this over-the-top jolliness. Maybe you remember a time when Santa was a rumor, a hope, a whispered promise. Now he's a mascot, a corporate juggernaut, a seasonal force of nature, but also somehow a comfort. Because underneath all the gloss and marketing, he's still the old street, miraculously everywhere at once, mysteriously able to survive on a diet of cookies, and always bringing just a little more light and noise to the darkest nights of winter. And if you listen carefully through the static of carols and jingles, you might just hear the real Santa chuckling quietly to himself, proud of the fact that in 1950s America, he finally got promoted from mythical enforcer to CEO of Christmas itself. Walking into a 1950s department store at Christmas is like being mugged by glitter and capitalism at the same time. There are window displays so elaborate they should count as Olympic events. And somewhere in the back, a Santa sweating in a polyester beard is quietly reassessing his life choices. You pause outside the big glass windows, nose practically pressed against the glass, fogging up the edges like a kid because everyone's a kid at Christmas, especially when confronted by animatronic elves hammering away in an infinite loop. Some are missing fingers. One has developed a facial tic. You marvel at a mechanical reindeer that spent the past 3 weeks blinking out "Help me" in Morse code. It's the kind of spectacle that makes you believe in magic, or at least in overtime pay for window dressers. Inside, the air is thick with anticipation, perfume samples, and whatever mystical substance they use to wax the linoleum floors. Every sense is assaulted at once. The music is loud, so loud you suspect it's actually a psychological test, and it's always silver bells. Always. The lights are so bright, you briefly consider sunglasses, and you have the sneaking suspicion that if you touch anything, a store detective in a reindeer tie will appear to assist you. It's a holiday jungle. You navigate a crowd made up of mothers in heavy wool coats, kids hopped up on candy canes, and grown men in fedoras, desperately searching for anything that might pass as a thoughtful gift for someone they barely know. You can practically feel the static electricity building with every synthetic coat brushing past yours. Every few steps, a stranger's child nearly takes you out with a flying model airplane, and someone's grandmother is aggressively blocking the escalator while debating the merits of 2 nearly identical nutcrackers. Every department is a different biome. The toy section is a riot of color and noise, with plastic robots, tin trains, and dolls that open and close their eyes in ways that feel more threatening than festive. If you listen closely, you can hear the subtle background hum of desperate salespeople reciting the features of every item in the store. It walks, it talks, it requires 4D batteries and possibly a minor electrical degree. The gift wrap counter has a line so long it could double as a conga line at the office Christmas party. You stand in it, cradling a precariously balanced stack of gifts. As the clock ticks toward closing, you consider just for a moment wrapping everything in newspaper and calling it vintage. But then you remember, this is 1950s America, and image is everything. You will wait. You will get that crisp, shiny paper and that perfect bow. You will lose circulation in your fingers before you settle for anything less. Around the corner, the cosmetics counter glitters with the promise of beauty and subtle family tension. Buy Mom perfume, and she'll wonder what you're trying to cover up. Buy Aunt Mildred, another powder compact, and she'll start to suspect you think she's secretly a ghost. Even the appliances are festive. The blender comes in holiday red. The toaster is gift-wrapped at the factory. You are expected to buy small kitchen gadgets for everyone you know, because nothing says "I love you" like a brand new electric can opener, right? And then there's the pièce de résistance, Santa's village. You follow the sugar-fueled screams of children to the back of the store, where a red and green wonderland has been constructed out of plywood, hope, and possibly asbestos. There's fake snow everywhere. On the ground, on the elves, in your shoes, you stand in line, rehearsing the story you'll tell about why your child looks mildly traumatized in the photo. It's tradition. As you finally emerge, dazed and slightly glittery, the world outside feels a little dimmer, a little less magical, but also maybe a little more peaceful. You've survived the great department store Christmas rush, secured the perfect gifts, and maybe, just maybe, caught a glimpse of that elusive holiday spirit hiding somewhere between the escalator and the clearance bin. Forget real trees. In 1955, America asked, why have nature when you can have an aluminum sculpture and a rotating color wheel that makes your living room look like a disco for elves? Let's set the scene. It's December. You're standing in your living room, contemplating a tree so shiny it looks like it could pick up local radio signals. Gone are the days of pine needles crunching underfoot or your dad swearing under his breath as he tries to wedge a 9-foot fir through a 3-foot doorway. Instead, you have an aluminum wonder, a tree so futuristic that even the Jetsons would feel underdressed standing next to it. Assembling the tree is a family event. You carefully pull out each sparkling, slightly menacing branch from its cardboard sarcophagus, trying not to cut yourself or accidentally blind a relative. Each branch fits into its own color-coded hole, like a radioactive game of pickup sticks. By the time you're done, your living room is bathed in a silvery glow, and everyone has at least one mystery scratch. Nobody's exactly sure if the tree is safe to touch, but it's 1955. Safety hasn't been invented yet. Now comes the real star of the show, the color wheel. Forget strings of lights. Forget candles or the dangerous practice of tying sparklers to branches. You wheel out a contraption that looks like something a coyote would use to catch a roadrunner. A rotating plastic disc divided into 4 bold colors: red, blue, green, and yellow. Switch it on and let the magic happen. The color wheel spins, bathing your metallic tree in a slow psychedelic parade of hues. Within minutes, your home transforms into a swirling, groovy nightclub, except instead of Frank Sinatra, you've got Uncle Earl snoring on the couch. It's mesmerizing and just a little bit suspicious. The tree shimmers. The walls pulse with shifting color. The family dog sits in the corner, staring at the spectacle with the grim concentration of someone trying to decode an alien language. Small children sit cross-legged, hypnotized, convinced this must be what the North Pole looks like on weekends. You're not sure if you're celebrating Christmas or prepping for first contact, but either way, it's the highlight of the year. There's a certain ritual to decorating an aluminum tree. Gone are the rustic wooden ornaments, the strings of popcorn, the lopsided angel your kid made in art class. Instead, you're in the world of precision and polish. Glass balls hang perfectly spaced along the metallic branches, reflecting so much light you can check your hair from across the room. Tinsel is strictly forbidden. Too much risk of static electricity, or worse, starting a house fire that would make the local news and ruin everyone's Jell-O salad. But there are perks. You never have to water it. There's no sap, no bugs, and absolutely zero chance of discovering a squirrel living in your tree unless Cousin Bobby gets really creative this year. Your house smells like, well, whatever's in the oven instead of an evergreen forest. But you make up for it by spraying a can of holiday pine air freshener and hoping nobody notices the scent is more chemical spill than winter. Wonderland. In this atomic age, your Christmas tree isn't just a decoration. It's a status symbol, a conversation piece, and possibly a minor health hazard. Neighborhood kids peer in the window, struck. Your neighbor leans over the fence and asks, "Where'd you get that beauty?" as if you've just driven home in a Cadillac. You feel like a pioneer, boldly going where no living room has gone before. And as the night settles in, you dim the rest of the house, letting the color wheel turn and the aluminum branches shimmer in their artificial glory. The room glows. Everyone is bathed in a slow-motion rainbow. And for a few brief weeks, you're at the very center of the universe, or at least the center of suburban Christmas innovation. If this is the future, you think maybe it isn't so bad, at least until it's time to pack it all away. And you discover that every branch is now charged with enough static electricity to power Cleveland. But that's a problem for January. For now, just bask in the atomic glow. The 1950s mailman is basically Santa with shin splints. Every day brings a new avalanche of Sears catalogs promising you can buy happiness for $4.95 plus shipping. Let's be honest, the true spirit of Christmas in the atomic age doesn't live at the North Pole. It lives in a stack of glossy, dogered catalogs teetering on the end table. There's the Sears Wish Book, of course, but also Montgomery Ward, J.C. Penney, Spiegel, and any number of minor catalogs that seem to multiply in the night. You don't shop in a store. You shop in your pajamas, flipping through endless pages while the kids circle everything in red crayon until it looks like a ransom note for your wallet. It's a tactile experience. The paper is thick, the colors are almost painfully vibrant, and the printing smells faintly of hope and industrial ink. The whole family gathers in the living room, each member hunched over their own section, squinting at tiny product codes and debating the relative merits of a 7-piece aluminum cookware set versus a set of matching towel monograms. No one knows what a monogram actually does, but it's in the catalog, so it must be important. Placing an order is a ritual, part logistics, part faith healing. You fill out an order form in careful block letters. Double-check the item numbers, then triple-check. Because last year you accidentally ordered a size 8 boot for Uncle Harold, who wears a 12 and still hasn't forgiven you. You enclose a money order or a carefully counted stack of bills. Address the envelope with a flourish and march it out to the mailbox. Then the waiting begins. Weeks pass. Children stare down the mailman with the intensity of tiny loan sharks. Grown-ups make daily pronouncements. Any day now, the anticipation is half the fun, unless the package gets delayed, in which case the fun becomes a family sport called Who Lost the Receipt. The mailman's workload doubles overnight. Every porch is booby-trapped with cardboard boxes and mysterious bundles wrapped in brown paper and twin E. Some are the size of a shoebox. Some are suspiciously large, and all are stamped with warnings that may as well read, "Do not open until Christmas or else." In the snow, mailmen march from door to door, weighed down by other people's Christmas dreams and the creeping realization that someone somewhere ordered a bowling ball and forgot to warn the recipient. Inside, gifts accumulate in closets, under beds, and in the mysterious gift drawer where socks go to become last-minute presents. There's a code of secrecy. Kids are forbidden to touch, shake, or even look at the packages. Parents master the art of casual deceit. That's just a new toaster for Grandma. It's not. It's the chemistry set you'll use to create small kitchen fires until Easter. Catalog shopping promises modernity, abundance, and an escape from the horrors of the parking lot. You can buy anything. Trains, dolls, perfumes, radios, pajamas with feet, actual feet for mannequins, but still, and a 7-foot inflatable snowman that once delivered will terrify the local wildlife until March. The promise is simple. For a small fee, you can have the future delivered straight to your door, no questions asked. Of course, sometimes the reality is less thrilling than the promise. The robe is a little scratchier than it looked in the photo. The toy train needs batteries that require a physics degree to install. The life-sized teddy bear is only life-sized if you're a squirrel. Still, it's all part of the adventure, and no one can deny the joy of that first glorious rip of brown paper on Christmas morning. In the end, mail order mania is about faith. Faith in catalogs, in the post office, in the magic of commerce and cardboard. As the snow falls outside and you clutch your latest catalog, circling and dreaming and maybe believing just a little bit in miracles, you realize the real gift is knowing you can buy a bread box at 3 a.m. and that somewhere a tired mailman is making sure it gets to you by Christmas Eve. Gift giving used to be simple. Now you're expected to buy everyone you know something that perfectly reflects their soul, or at least their sock size. The anxiety is enough to make you nostalgic for coal. Let's talk about pressure. Once upon a time, a nice orange in the toe of a stocking or a new pair of mittens would do the trick. In the post-war 1950s, that's basically social exile. The stakes are higher now. Thanks to the magic of television, catalogs, and what scientists call keeping up with the Joneses, you live in a world where your mother-in-law expects not just a gift, but a thoughtful gesture. The neighbor's kid expects a robot that walks, talks, and possibly reports communist sympathies. Even your dentist might be offended if you don't drop off a box of chocolate-covered regrets. The quest for the Dementor's perfect gift begins innocently enough. Maybe you make a list. Maybe you have a little hope in your heart. That hope lasts roughly 10 minutes, about as long as it takes to realize nobody in your family has any actual hobbies. And if they do, they're the expensive kind. You pace the aisles of the local 5 and dime, clutching a half-filled basket and 1,000 stare. Everything blurs together. Is Dad more of a tie with a novelty reindeer guy or a shaving kit shaped like a rocket? Should you risk another fruitcake? Or is that just asking for a future grudge? You start to second-guess yourself. Last year, you bought Aunt Ruth a hand mixer. She claimed to love it, but you're haunted by the way she said, "Oh, how practical." This year, the stakes are higher. You're not just shopping for a present, you're curating an experience. Every commercial on TV insists that your family's happiness depends on the right brand of perfume, the latest model of toy train, or a meat slicer so powerful it could double as a defensive weapon in case of burglary. It's a minefield. You wander into a department store, hoping inspiration will strike. Instead, you're ambushed by 3 different salespeople, each wielding a bottle of cologne like a weaponized mist. A Christmas carol plays on an endless loop, and the lights are so bright that you start to hallucinate advice from the ghost of Christmas shopping past. Just get socks and tell them it's tradition. The pressure builds, somewhere between the world's most comfortable slippers and electric blanket. Extra shocking, you lose all sense of reason. You find yourself seriously considering a subscription to canned ham of the month or a lamp shaped like a pineapple. You buy 2, just in case. You realize you've been holding a box of monogrammed napkin rings for 15 minutes, and you don't know anyone who uses napkin rings, let alone has the kind of lifestyle where a napkin needs to be monogrammed. And then, of course, there's the wrapping. In the 1950s, wrapping paper was a competitive sport. It must sparkle, it must shimmer, it must require enough tape to keep a medium-sized animal securely fastened for travel. You cut, you fold, you tape, you try not to swear in front of the children. The result is either a work of art or a crumpled ball of paper. So tragic it needs to be hidden at the back of the tree. You compare your pile of gifts to the commercials on TV. Why don't your boxes look that square? Why does your ribbon always twist in that one deeply insulting way? Why does Uncle Jerry still claim you forgot him in 1949? In the end, it's chaos, anxiety, and a little bit of hope. Maybe you'll find the perfect gift. Maybe you'll just find something that won't get regretted to you next year. But as you finally collapse on the couch, surrounded by packages and the faint smell of Scotch tape, you realize the real tradition isn't perfection. It's panic, improvisation, and the hope that this year everyone will remember the real meaning of Christmas. You tried your best, and nobody got coal, not even you. Suddenly, it's not enough to give a gift. You must wrap it in glossy, garish paper and enough tape to survive a nuclear blast. Because nothing says love like 3 layers of impenetrable cardboard. You might think wrapping paper is a trivial concern, at something you can improvise at the last minute with the comic section or a grocery bag. Not in the 1950s. This is the era where presentation is everything. If your gift isn't wrapped in a blizzard of glitter, metallics, and a rib bone so shiny you can see your worried reflection in it, you might as well not bother showing up. In the eyes of suburban society, a naked present is an act of war. It's the equivalent of showing up to a dinner party in nothing but your socks and a hopeful smile. Let's talk about the choices. There's classic red and green, of course, but also shimmering gold, silver, plaid, polka dots, Santa's doing the cha-cha, and reindeer in hats that look suspiciously like your Uncle Phil. Every store has an entire aisle dedicated to gift wrap. Towers of paper rolls in a color spectrum unknown to science. There's cellophane. There's flocked velvet. There are sheets so slippery they defy human hands, folding themselves into origami nightmares as soon as you touch them. You begin with good intentions. You clear the kitchen table, summon your supplies, scissors sharp enough to cut glass, a mountain of tape, and a sense of optimism. You absolutely don't deserve it. The first box seems easy enough. Lay out the paper, eyeball the size, and make the first fateful cut. Too small. You try to patch it with an extra scrap, but now there's a suspicious bald spot right on top. Maybe if you put a bow on it. No. Now it looks like you're hiding evidence. On to box 2. This time you overcompensate, using enough paper to insulate a mid-sized sedan. You wrap, you fold, you tape, you mutter. The corners are a disaster. The tape sticks to everything except the paper, and there's glitter everywhere. On your clothes, your dog, and in places you'll be discovering until Valentine's Day. The end result is lumpy, crinkled, and about as elegant as a potato in a prom dress. And then there's the tape. In the 1950s, tape was both a tool and a philosophy. More is always better. Run it along every seam, reinforce the corners, seal the edges, add an extra strip for luck. The finished product is less a wrapped present and more a vault. The only way in is with a crowbar or a series of tactical explosives. Children on Christmas morning are forced to wrestle each gift like a small alligator. There are casualties, bent fingernails, lost patience, the occasional family feud over who has the sharper scissors. Gift tags become their own subgenre. Some are elegant, gold-scripted, and attached with twine. Others are "To You From Me" masterpieces written in panic 5 minutes before the party. The wrapping is so elaborate that half the time people forget what's inside. The real thrill is in the unveiling, a slow-motion battle of paper and tape that ends with a tiny gasp of victory as the box finally gives way. And if you dare to recycle last year's paper, beware. The elders in your family will know. They can spot a reused bow from 30 yards away and will judge accordingly. In the world of mid-century Christmas, thrift is admirable, but only if it's invisible. When it's all done, your living room is a glittering disaster. Wrapping paper drifts under couches and behind radiators. Tape dispensers are empty, and your last bow has been claimed by the cat. But as you survey the battlefield, you know you've done your duty. Each gift is a fortress, each ribbon a statement, each layer of paper is a reminder. In the atomic age, the real miracle isn't what's inside the box, it's the fact that you managed to wrap it all up. Somewhere between 1949 and 1958, Christmas cards multiplied like rabbits. You send them to relatives, neighbors, and that guy who once mowed your lawn in 1952. If you don't send at least 100, are you even trying? Let's set the scene. It's early December. You're sitting at the kitchen table, a battlefield of colored envelopes, stamps, and an address book that doubles as a historical document and an archaeological dig. Names you barely recognize appear in your best handwriting. Miss Bid from 2 towns over, a distant cousin who once shared a sandbox with you, and your 3rd grade teacher who you're pretty sure is now a nun in Idaho. If you're not careful, you'll end up sending one to your dentist's cat. In the 1950s, Christmas cards weren't just a gesture. They're a social obligation of cosmic importance. Every mailbox in the country groans under the weight of holiday cheer. It's not enough to wish Merry Christmas in person. You have to do it by mail in triplicate with a jolly robin, a snow-frosted cottage, or a disturbingly Lee-like baby Jesus gazing soulfully into the middle distance. Bonus points if there's glitter foil or a miniature wreath glued onto the card, so securely it will shed needles in your sock drawer until June. There's a certain pageantry to the whole process. You choose your cards with care, weighing the merits of traditional snowy landscape versus winking cartoon Santa. You debate whether you're the kind of family that sends out a photo card, matching sweaters, awkward smiles, everyone blinking in unison, or maybe you prefer the stately elegance of a gold-embossed nativity scene that says, "We definitely own more than one candlestick." You start writing with optimism. The first few cards are heartfelt, even poetic, wishing you joy and warmth this holiday season. May your days be merry and bright. But by card number 30, the prod and prize messages grow. Your handwriting devolves into hieroglyphics, and your festive mood has been replaced by an existential numbness only cured by eggnog and carpal tunnel exercises. The address sign is a feat of endurance. You flip through your Rolodex, which contains everyone you've ever met, plus several people you suspect are fictional. There's a hierarchy to observe: relatives first, then friends, then neighbors, then obligatory others. These include your boss, your mailman, your child's teacher, and the couple across the street who still haven't returned your rake from 1951. The further down the list, the less personal the message. Merry Christmas from the Smiths becomes warm regards. And finally, just Bob, and then there's the stamps. In 1950s America, stamps were currency, hoarded, coveted, and occasionally hidden from other family members. Someone always runs out at 9:30 p.m., prompting an emergency run to the corner store, where the paid-only option is a sheet of commemoratives featuring a president who looks deeply suspicious of your handwriting. Mailing the cards is another adventure. You parade down to the corner mailbox with a stack so thick it could qualify as structural insulation. The mailman, already teetering under the weight of everyone else's goodwill, gives you a look that says, "I know where you live. You're just one of millions performing this annual ritual." Each envelope is a tiny papery lifeline to a world before text messages and holiday group chats. And when the cards start arriving, oh, the glory. Your mantelpiece becomes an exhibition space. Cards are arranged with military precision, propped up with tape and hope, the pride of your living room. Every guest admires your bounty. So many cards. They gasp as you humbly explain that you just know a lot of people. You try not to mention that half of them are from the insurance company and the other half are from people who still call you Patricia, even though your name is actually Denise. In the end, you collapse onto the couch, glitter on your hands, a paper cut on your finger, but a sense of accomplishment in your heart. You've completed the gauntlet of the Christmas card explosion, and somewhere out there, 100 mailboxes and one very surprised guy who once mowed your lawn are a little brighter for it. It's Christmas Eve. You're crowded around the TV, hypnotized by Bing Crosby, stop-motion reindeer, and commercials promising that the real meaning of Christmas is breakfast cereal. Let's set the scene. The living room is dark, except for the glow of the television. A gigantic wooden console that weighs more than your car and gets 4 channels, all of which are running the same holiday programming on a never-ending loop. You and your family have squeezed onto the sofa, arms pressed so close together, it's basically an exercise in advanced origami. The dog is on someone's feet. Grandma has claimed the best seat with a view, and Dad is fidgeting with the rabbit ears. Convinced that if he holds his breath and leans to the left, you might get the picture in full color for at least 3 seconds on the screen. Bing Crosby is crying about white Christmases as if snow is guaranteed, and not just the result of some meteorological blackmail. The annual parade of celebrities, Perry Como, Dina Shaw, a ventriloquist's dummy with questionable morals, parades across your screen in a haze of tinsel and technicolor. The whole country is watching together, united in the knowledge that for one night, you don't have to talk to each other. You just have to stare at the glowing box and let the holiday spirit beamed directly from New York or possibly from a warehouse in New Jersey. And then came the cartoons. This is the golden age of stop-motion animation, where reindeer move like they've just learned about gravity. Elves sport eyebrows that could double as winter scarves. And Santa's workshop looks like a fever dream, sponsored by the aluminum industry. There's something reassuring about the mechanical waddle of Rudolph, something deeply uncanny about dolls that blink independently of their heads, and something you suspect will haunt you into adulthood about the island of misfit toys. Every few minutes, the magic is interrupted by a commercial break. You're told that Christmas isn't just about love, togetherness, or even toys. It's about what you eat for breakfast. If you don't wake up to a bowl of sugar-frosted something, you're basically failing the season. Moms, choose Cheer Frost Flakes for maximum holiday cheer, says a cartoon snowman with dead eyes. Suddenly you feel guilty for ever eating oatmeal. Other ads offer an endless loop of toy robots, dolls with eyelids that open and close with a disturbing thunk, and that one board game you'll receive and immediately lose all the pieces to by Boxing Day. The family sits transfixed, each person lost in their own dreamy reverie. For children, the commercials are pure wish fulfillment, a glimpse into a world where every living room is lined with toys and every child is eternally delighted. For adults, it's a gentle nudge that there's still time to panic about not buying enough gifts, or not buying the right ones, or not having enough tinsel, which the television assures you is the #1 cause of holiday failure nationwide. Occasionally, the broadcast gets fuzzy. You smack the side of the TV. As is tradition, Dad crawls behind the console, adjusting wires, possibly hoping to discover Narnia. The dog barks at a Jingle Bell sound effect and is promptly shushed by 3 generations. The entire experience is oddly comforting. In a world before streaming, before on-demand, you watch what's on when it's on. And if you miss it, tough luck. You're in it together, waiting for the moment when Frosty melts or the Grinch's heart grows 3 sizes again. As the final credits roll and Bing's voice fades into a syrupy chorus, you look around the room. There's a pile of popcorn, a mountain of wrapping paper waiting for tomorrow, and a strange sense of satisfaction that only comes from doing absolutely nothing together. TV didn't just take over Christmas. It made Christmas an event, shared, shimmering, and just a little bit ridiculous. And as you shuffle off to bed, ears ringing with jingles and carols, you know the glow of the TV will linger just a bit longer, painting the walls with holiday magic that for one night feels real. Santa's red suit, brought to you by a beverage company. Every December, the whole world learns that happiness comes in a glass bottle, signed with a side of diabetes. Let's set the scene. It's the early 1950s. You're thumbing through a magazine, and suddenly there he is, Santa Claus, bigger than life and much more hydrated, hoisting a frosty glass bottle of Coke like it's the Holy Grail. His cheeks are rosier than ever, his belt is stretched to the limit, and his eyes twinkle with that knowing look only found in people with a lifetime supply of carbonated beverages. Forget ancient folklore, forget the Saint Nicholas of history, who was probably more beard in a monastery than beard in Times Square. This Santa is an industrial-strength jolly machine, and he answers directly to Atlanta, Georgia. It's no secret. Coca-Cola and Christmas go together like mistletoe and workplace lawsuits. Before the admin got to him, Santa's look was kind of all over the place. Sometimes in green, sometimes in brown, sometimes thin enough to squeeze down a chimney without causing structural damage. Enter Coca-Cola. With a marketing campaign so effective it makes you nostalgic for a time when subliminal was just a big word you didn't understand. They hired artist Hayden Sunbull to create the ultimate Santa, round, robust, and draped in Coke's signature red. The result? The Santa you now see plastered on billboards, delivery trucks, store windows, and your neighbor's dog. If you look long enough, you can't escape him. Turn on the radio, and there's a jingle about pausing for Coke and goodwill toward men. Walk down Main Street, and every drugstore has a cardboard Santa holding a bottle so cold it's practically sweating in the display window. Your local grocery runs a promotion where you get a free bottle of Coke with every fruitcake, which, let's be honest, is the only reason anyone is buying fruitcake. In homes across America, the fridge is stocked, the TV is blaring, and Santa is raising a bottle, inviting you to enjoy the real thing. As if Christmas cheer can be measured in fluid ounces. It's not just the imagery, it's the lifestyle. The ads promise that a Coke break is all you need to survive December. Stressed about shopping? Have a Coke. Family driving you nuts? Come out of wrapping paper at midnight. There's a bottle for that. The unspoken suggestion is that no matter your troubles, everything will look a little brighter, taste a little sweeter, and sparkle with ice-cold optimism after a single sip. For kids, it's magic. For parents, it's the gentle background hum of brand loyalty forming like snowdrifts. You're not just buying a drink, you're buying a little piece of the North Pole, bottled by the millions and distributed with military efficiency. Santa himself seems less concerned with delivering toys and more focused on brand synergy. His elves are probably in the back room negotiating a sponsorship deal for next year's sleigh. And so every December you play your part in the great sugary pageant. You chill the bottles in snowbanks, pop them open with satisfying clinks, and pretend that the fizz is a little more magical this time of year. You arrange 6-packs on the mantle like holiday candles and hang Coke-themed ornaments on your aluminum tree. You might even leave a bottle out for Santa himself, just in case he gets thirsty or needs a little caffeine boost to finish the last 10 million houses. Years later, as the world looks back on classic Christmas, no one really remembers that Santa's wardrobe was ever anything but red and white. The story of a soft drink that conquered Christmas becomes the story of Christmas itself, with a global population toasting to peace, goodwill, and high fructose corn syrup. So tonight, as you drift off, picture Santa with his red suit, his sack of toys, and a cold bottle of Coke. Because nothing says holiday tradition like a marketing campaign that never sleeps. You try to pretend you like eggnog. You try even harder to pretend you understand fruitcake. But in the 1950s, these were not just food. Their mandatory seasonal rituals are enforced by grandmothers and peer pressure. Let's start with eggnog. Every December, a mysterious jug appears in your fridge. It's thick, it's pale yellow, and it's got a smell that's half nutmeg, half dairy aisle panic. Pouring yourself a glass is like conducting a science experiment. There's always a moment of hesitation. Should it really jiggle like that? Is that normal? Your grandmother assures you it's perfectly safe because the alcohol kills everything. This 1950s logic is the only medical advice you need. The first sip is a test of character. If you're a kid, you get the virgin version. Sugar, cream, eggs, and so much nutmeg, you briefly hallucinate a Victorian Christmas. If you're an adult, the recipe calls for enough bourbon or rum to make you forget you ever had taste buds. Either way, you pretend it's delicious while secretly wondering if anyone has ever finished a whole glass. Guests sitting around, mugs sweating in their hands, making polite noises. So festive. While the family dog circles the room, hoping someone will drop a splash on the carpet so he can investigate. But then comes fruitcake, the real test of your holiday spirit. Fruitcake is less of a dessert and more of a challenge issued by history. No one remembers when the first fruitcake was made, but by the 1950s, it's everywhere, wrapped in waxed paper, loaded with enough candied fruit to power a small jet engine, and heavy enough to be classified as a blunt weapon. In most states, you receive one from a distant aunt every year. No matter how much you regift, more appears. It's the only food known to science that is both edible and completely impervious to time. Serving fruitcake is a family event. Someone hacks into it with a knife meant for home defense, and a sticky wedge emerges, studded with glistening bits of red and green mystery fruit. Your father insists that it improves with age, which is probably true for cheese, but feels like a thin excuse here. You nibble a piece with the solemnity of a religious ritual, chewing carefully so you don't crack a filling on a hidden nut or whatever industrial material is holding it all together. There's a hierarchy of reactions. Some brave souls claim to love it, insisting that the secret is soaking it in brandy, as if alcohol is the solution to all of life's disappointments. Others opt for the tactical avoidance strategy, moving it around their plate, offering it to the family pet, or quietly placing it behind the radiator where it will outlast the Cold War. Still, fruitcake persists. The culinary equivalent of nuclear fallout. You can't get rid of it, and it's probably glowing in the dark. Meanwhile, the table is groaning under the weight of other seasonal offerings, gelatin salads trembling in their molds, gingerbread men with slightly deranged expressions, and bowls of hard candy that have fused into geological formations. Yet nothing inspires more argument than the eggnog versus fruitcake debate. Each generation has its champion. Great Aunt Mabel, clutching her mug of nog, delivers a speech about tradition. Uncle Howard, polishing off a third slice of fruitcake, insists it's an acquired taste like jazz or licorice or running a marathon. But here's the secret. Nobody wants to be the first to break the chain. If you admit you hate eggnog, you risk exile from the family photo. If you throw out the fruitcake, your grandmother will somehow know. No matter how many zip codes away she lives, so you endure. You sip, you chew, you smile bravely for the camera as another gelatinous bite goes down. And later, as you lie in bed, stomach swirling with nutmeg and candied citron, you realize that this annual battle for edible supremacy is what the holidays are really about. Endurance, nostalgia, and the unbreakable law that in 1950s America, you never say no to grandma. Not when she's watching. Not even to fruitcake. You hang ornaments that look less like holly and more like Sputnik. Your tree topper is pointier than your neighbor's car. This is progress. Let's set the scene. It's the 1950s, and you're living in the golden age of American optimism, where every living room is a showroom and every Christmas tree is a test launch. This year's holiday decor isn't about tradition, it's about trajectory. Gone are the days of popcorn garlands and homespun angels with crooked yarn hair. Now it's all about angles, alloys, and the subtle suggestion that you are prepared to blast off to Jupiter at a moment's notice. You open the big cardboard box labeled Christmas, fragile-ish, and inside is a dazzling collection of glass and chrome. The ornaments are daring. Some are teardrop-shaped, others resemble little rockets or atomic stars, and one or two look suspiciously like experimental weather balloons. They glint in the light, broadcasting to every visitor. We have seen the future, and it is fabulous and slightly radioactive. Decorating is a family affair, but now it feels more like prepping a lunar module. You hand a shimmering turquoise orb to your youngest, reminding them to be gentle with an urgency usually reserved for handling uranium. Every bubble is engineered for maximum reflection. Some even have internal glitter, swirling like the Milky Way when you give them a cautious spin. The aluminum tree in the corner, too proud and too shiny to blend in, seems to whisper, "Soon, we will all be robots." The color palette has shifted. Classic red and green, quaint, but you're living in the atomic age. Think pastel pinks, aquamarines, deep cosmic blues, and radioactive silvers. Each strand of tinsel is meticulously placed. No clumps, please, because symmetry is the highest form of holiday devotion. You string up bubble lights that gurgle and fizz like science experiments. The glass tubes glowing in radioactive shades of red, green, and amber, hypnotizing children and confusing the family cat. Of course, the peste de resistance is the tree topper, a star so sharp and geometric it could double as a medieval weapon. Perched at the summit, it catches every beam of light and hurls it around the room in dazzling, somewhat menacing patterns. Visitors squint, momentarily blinded, and everyone acts like this is the very definition of cozy. Elsewhere, the coffee table holds a centerpiece of plastic holly and battery-powered candles. Batteries not included, obviously. The mantle is lined with shiny foil garlands that catch fire easily if you breathe too hard in their direction, but they look fantastic in the glow of the TV. Stockings are no longer knitted by grandma, but store-bought in a shade of red, so intense it sets off the gear counter in the utility closet. Even the outdoor decorations have joined the space race. Your neighbor, not to be outdone, has installed a set of neon reindeer whose noses blink in Morse code. There's an inflatable Santa piloting a rocket ship complete with atomic boosters and a trail of tinsel exhaust. The local paper runs an annual feature on the most futuristic lawn display, and you live in mild terror that your tree topper might lose you the title to Mrs. Haskins' three-story robot snowman. Inside, you pause to admire your handiwork. The living room feels less like a hearth and more like mission control. There's a faint whiff of ozone in the air, mingled with the unmistakable aroma of artificial pine and someone's failed Jell-O salad experiment. You sit back listening to Bing Crosby crew on the radio while your futuristic decor throws dancing shapes onto the ceiling. The cat eyes the tree suspiciously, perhaps wondering what planet it's from, as you turn off the main lights and let the color wheel do its work. The room shimmers with an unearthly glow. You realize that for all the metallic shine and angular oddities, you're still celebrating the same old hope that the future will be bright, cheerful, and maybe just a little bit weird. And really, isn't that what Christmas and the atomic age are all about? You live in fear that the Johnsons across the street will outdo you with an inflatable Santa. It's not about peace on Earth, it's about victory in the suburban Cold War. This is December in 1950s suburbia, where the snow may fall gently, but the competitive spirit is fierce. You start with good intentions, a simple string of colored bulbs along the porch, tasteful, even dignified. But the moment you spot the Johnsons hauling out a life-sized glowing reindeer, all bets are off. You're not just decorating for Christmas, you're defending your family's honor, your property value, and your place in the local social hierarchy. It's a gradual escalation. First, it's lights on the gutters, then lights on the shrubs. By week 2, you're in the yard at midnight, wrapping every available surface in blinking bulbs, risking frostbite and mild electrocution. Your ladder is propped against the house at an angle that would make OSHA weep. Neighbors drive by slowly, windows down, taking notes, possibly intelligence gathering for next year. There are unwritten rules. Of course, you can't copy Johnson's theme, but you can try to outshine it. They've got a nativity scene. You consider a rooftop choir of illuminated angels. They install a giant candy cane archway. You start pricing out mechanical elves on the black market. In the 1950s, there's no online shopping, just hardware stores, mail-order catalogs, and whatever you could borrow from your brother-in-law's garage. Every house has its strategy. The Coopers, 2 doors down, go for quantity over quality, stringing so many lights their yard glows like a radioactive marshmallow. The Petersons are minimalists, claiming less is more, but you know that's code for we lost the box with our decorations again. And then there's Old Man Riggs, who hasn't put up a single bulb since the war, but leaves his porch light on all night out of spite. By the third week of December, your electric meter is spinning so fast you can hear it whine. You suspect the power company holds a silent vigil in your honor. Your children's job is to untangle knots of light strings while you mumble about next year to get organized. Your spouse is in charge of preventing you from attempting any more roofline acrobatics, but even they can't stop you from building a snowman with light-up eyes and an unsettlingly perfect mustache. And let's not forget the newest frontier, inflatable decorations. Suddenly, yards across the country are with giant plastic Santas, reindeer, and snow globes, all powered by fans that sound like small aircraft taking off at 2 a.m. You develop strong opinions about inflatable penguins, mainly that you will never forgive the Johnsons for being first. Judgment is swift and merciless. Kids vote with their feet, flocking to whichever house has the best lights and free candy canes. Adults critique your work in whispers at the mailbox. The local paper runs a best block contest, and the competition is so cutthroat that Mrs. Porce fell from down. The street files a formal protest over a suspected use of off-season Easter lights, but it's not all stress. There's real joy, too. The night before Christmas, you stand outside, bundled in layers, cheeks tingling from the cold and the adrenaline of seasonal warfare. The snow glows in the reflected lights, colors twinkling in every icy patch. Neighbors who barely wave in July now linger, trading jokes, sharing cocoa, admiring the handiwork. For a few hours, the competition softens. You realize you've created something together, a glowing, buzzing, slightly ridiculous winter wonderland. And as you finally unplug the last string, fingers numb but heart strangely warm, you look across the street and see the Johnsons waving. You nod. Truce declared. Until next year. In suburbia, peace on earth is negotiable, but victory in the light wars is forever. Lawn decorations are getting more elaborate. Is that a snowman, or is your neighbor building a weatherproof decoy in case of Soviet attack? Let's wander through the suburban tundra of 1950s America, where every front yard is a canvas and every homeowner a visionary. It starts innocently enough, a plastic reindeer grazing demurely on a blanket of snow. Maybe a jolly snowman waving by the mailbox, but soon the neighborhood is transformed. Every lawn becomes a battleground of creativity, ambition, and let's face it, unspoken psychological warfare. First come the reindeer, molded from plastic so sturdy it will outlast the house itself. Their red noses glow with a radioactive intensity that makes pilots nervous. Some are standing, some are leaping, and at least one is always face down in a snowdrift. The victim of overzealous decorating and a strong winter wind, you dutifully prop it back up, telling yourself that next year, you'll stake it down with something stronger than leftover turkey skewers. Then the snowmen appear. No longer are they simply balls of packed snow with coal eyes and carrot noses. Now they come pre-assembled with painted smiles, silk scarves, and suspiciously perky top hats that don't move even in a blizzard. Some have light bellies. Others have internal wiring and are programmed to play jingle bells at random intervals, usually at 3 in the morning, terrifying raccoons and postmen alike. The true arms race, though, is in the specialty items. There are sleighs carved out of plywood, painted fire truck red, and varnished to a high shine. Life-size plastic Santas perch precariously on rooftops, gripping their sacks with white-knuckled determination. And then there's your neighbor's Piesta Resistance, a 12-foot inflatable polar bear wearing a bow tie, gazing serenely toward the east, as if on constant lookout for an approaching parade or the Red Army in the shadow of the Cold War. Every decoration feels slightly like a decoy. Is that nativity scene in the Clark's yard or a cleverly disguised listening post? No one knows and no one asks. All that matters is that your home projects seasonal joy and is divided by or mild paranoia to anyone driving by. The kids on the block assign secret agent names to the snowmen and hold clandestine meetings in the shadow of the plastic penguins. Somewhere a plastic wise man has lost his head for the 3rd time this week, and rumors swirl that it's the work of the Johnsons' dog or a covert Christmas operation. At night, the neighborhood comes alive. The reindeer glow with a fervor that could guide lost aircraft to safety. Frosty waves silently in the breeze, his smile fixed and a little too knowing. Every window displays a holiday table, all candle-lit silhouettes, blinking elves, and paper snowflakes stuck up with enough tape to secure a bank vault. Even the mailbox is wrapped in tinsel and plastic holly, guarded by a snowman who seems to dare the postman to deliver bills instead of cards. You marvel at the spectacle, knowing full well that these decorations will be here until March, no matter how many January thaws or late-season blizzards sweep through. The plastic stands strong, a testament to mid-century optimism and the conviction that more is always better. Occasionally, a wise man goes missing, a reindeer takes flight in a real windstorm, or Santa's hat is stolen by neighborhood pranksters. But it's all part of the game. In the end, you stand in your front yard, hot cocoa steaming in your gloved hands, admiring the glorious lies of plastic cheerfulness and painted-on smiles. Your heart warms a little even as your toes go numb. It doesn't really matter if your snowman is a decoy or if your reindeer can actually fly. What matters is that for a few magical weeks, the whole neighborhood comes together under a parade of blinking plastic joy to keep the darkness at bay. And if anyone asks about the inflatable bear, you simply wink and say, Cold War strategy. Then wave at your neighbor who's installing a weatherproof snow angel on the roof. You try to buy educational toys, but your kids just want whatever is advertised between cartoons and cigarettes. Welcome to the world of atomic robots and plastic everything. It's 1950-some, and you're armed with a crisp $10 bill, a Sears catalog, and a mild sense of panic. The holiday mission: secure the perfect toy, one that will transform your child into a Nobel laureate, or at the very least, buy you 10 minutes of peace before dinner. The department store toy aisle is a dazzling gauntlet of possibility. There's the atomic science lab, complete with test tubes, suspicious powders, and maybe a little actual uranium if the government isn't watching too closely. Teaches children the wonders of chemistry, the ad says, while you quietly wonder how much insurance you have. Then there are the robots. Oh, the robots, tin and plastic marvels with wind-up keys, sparking chests, and eyes that glow like miniature atomic bombs. Some walk, some talk. If you count a series of clicks and the occasional shriek as conversation, all of them are advertised as guaranteed to improve intelligence or foster creativity. But in reality, your living room will soon be a war zone of mechanical gladiators battling for supremacy on the shag carpet. But your kids don't want intelligence. They want speed. They want cars that go faster than the speed of light. According to the commercial, even though you know they'll move an impressive 4 in before careening under the couch, never to be seen again, the Hot Wheels and the slot car tracks eat batteries, carpet fibers, and occasionally a chunk of your dignity as you're forced to retrieve them while stuck on all fours. Dolls, too, have entered a brave new world. The catalog pages are filled with plastic wonders, eyes that open and close, hair that really grows, which is suspicious on a molecular level, and wardrobes more elaborate than anything you own. The Betsy Wetsy and Tiny Tears lines offer a taste of parenthood for the underrated crowd. She drinks, she cries, she wets herself. The ads crow as if that's the pinnacle of fun and not just an unpaid internship in diaper changing. Let's not forget the board games. If you thought Monopoly could ruin family gatherings, just wait until you try Operation, the first game designed to give children an early understanding of medical malpractice. Plastic bones, rubber bands, and a buzzing electric penalty for every error. Christmas cheer with a side of anxiety. You, ever the responsible adult, gravitate toward the educational section. Here are microscopes, model rockets, and books filled with words like experiment and enrichment. You dream briefly of a household where children quietly construct model bridges, solve equations, and utter phrases like, "Thank you, Mother, for stimulating my intellectual development." Instead, they're glued to the TV, absorbing jingles, watching animated spokes animals sell the latest in noise-making, flashing plastic wonders. And just when you think you've made your choice, a voice comes over the store's loudspeaker. Parents, don't forget to check out our exclusive battery-powered self-propelling musical toy parade. Guaranteed to drive everyone in your home insane by New Year's. You see it? A train, a marching band, a dog that barks jingle bells, all in glorious, indestructible plastic. Resistance is futile. Finally, you surrender. You buy the robot, the car, the doll, and the science kit. You wrap them in enough paper to protect against nuclear fallout. Label each one with trembling hands and brace yourself for the carnage of Christmas morning. You'll never win. Next year, the toys will be even louder, brighter, and made from plastics that defy the laws of physics and decency. But for a few fleeting hours, the children will be happy. The house will ring with the sound of battery-powered chaos, and you'll have survived another round in the atomic toy arms race of the 1950s. And as you drift off to sleep, serenaded by the distant buzz of a robot and the rustle of cellophane, you'll know you did your best. Even if you never find that race car under the couch again, you're required to attend a holiday party with coworkers you barely tolerate in a room decorated like a nuclear missile site disguised as a winter wonderland. At least there's Jell-O. Welcome to the mid-century office holiday party, where marriage is mandatory and social awkwardness is written into company policy. Your invitation arrived in the same inner office envelope as last month's memo about inappropriate use of the mimeograph machine. You're expected to RSVP with a spirit of enthusiasm you haven't felt since Eisenhower was elected. The decorations are something to behold. Icicle garlands dangle from the ceiling tiles held up by thumbtacks and hope. Fluorescent lights flicker overhead, bathing the room in a distinctly unfestive greenish glow. Someone has attempted to create a snowman from cotton balls and copier paper, but it looks more like an experimental prototype for chemical warfare. You count at least 6 mismatched extension cords snaking beneath the folding tables, and you consider making a mental note for the fire marshal. If only you remembered his name. The food is classic 1950s potluck. Platters of deviled eggs sweating gently beside pyramids of canned pineapple cubes, bowls of pastel mints, and of course, the mandatory gel. Oh, salad. This one contains, for reasons known only to its creator, shredded carrots and what appears to be miniature marshmallows. There are cocktail wieners impaled on frilly toothpicks and a giant wheel of cheese sweating under the gaze of the accounting department. In the corner, a punch bowl glows suspiciously, the color of antifreeze. The coffee is burnt, and the coffee cake is mostly cinnamon and corporate regret. You mill around the room, clutching a small plate, making strange small talk with Carol from HR, who is determined to recount the story of her cat's dental surgery. The boss is there in a red tie and a smile that suggests he's only slightly less nervous than you are. The department secretary, who everyone suspects runs the company from the shadows, is in charge of the music. Tiny carols piped from a portable record player perched atop a stack of annual reports. And then the mistletoe taped to the entrance in a desperate attempt to foster camaraderie or maybe create future HR paperwork. It hovers like an awkward ghost over every greeting. You quickly calculate the safest route to the snack table that avoids the danger zone of forced holiday affection. Inevitably, someone suggests a game. It's always something designed to build morale, like Secret Santa or charades. You pray you don't have to mime Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer in front of the regional manager. Secret Santa is a minefield. Will your $1.49 mug be considered thoughtful or passive-aggressive? And who brought the gift wrapped in newspaper and office tape? Spoiler, it's your supervisor and its socks. There's the annual speech. The boss clinks a fork against a glass, gives a pep talk about the true spirit of teamwork, and thanks everyone for their record-setting dedication to the Benson account. There are polite laughs and a single heroic round of applause. Someone raises a toast with a punch that may or may not contain actual fruit. If you're lucky, there's a raffle. If you're really lucky, you'll win the leftover fruitcake or a set of monogrammed pencils. Someone spikes the punch. The sales team sings off key. And somewhere, a forgotten Jell-O mold begins to melt into a colorful puddle of broken resolutions. Eventually, you grab your coat, sign the attendance sheet so HR knows you participated in company culture, and make your escape. Outside, the winter air is sharp, but you're free. The fluorescent lights are behind you, and the Jell-O will never follow you home. At least not until next year. You survived. You mingled. You endured mistletoe, canned ham, and forced camaraderie. In 1950s corporate America, that's basically a promotion. The table groans under a mountain of food, some of which is still wiggling. There's always a casserole with ingredients nobody can name, and at least one pie that could double as a building material. Let's begin with the main event, the turkey. It sits at the center of the table, golden brown and glistening. The result of 7 hours of basting, rotating, and increasingly frantic prayer. The carving knife is sharpened to surgical precision, ready for its annual performance. As the first slice is made, there's collective relief. The bird is actually cooked this year. The family dog, having been exiled from the kitchen, gazes up from under the table with the hopeful intensity of someone applying for parole. But the turkey is only the opening act. Around it is an array of casseroles, each one more mysterious than the last. There's the classic green bean casserole, topped with enough crispy onions to absorb a minor oil spill. The holiday surprise casserole, layered in a dish older than you are, dares you to guess its contents. Rumor has it there are crushed potato chips, creamed soup, and possibly a trace of last year's Christmas ham. Somewhere in the mix is a dish that defies gravity, logic, and possibly the Geneva Convention. A shimmering neon orange gelatin mold, quivering with embedded fruit cocktail, and an unsettling optimism about the potential of pectin. Your aunt presents her signature salad, a concoction of miniature marshmallows, canned pineapple, shredded carrots, and just a touch of mayonnaise, which you're told is what makes it special. You try to look grateful as it's scooped onto your plate, resisting the urge to start a trade agreement with your cousin for a larger slice of bread. Speaking of bread, there's always a mountain of dinner rolls, fresh from the oven, steamed into submission, and rapidly encased in a stratum of butter. They're the diplomatic peacekeepers of the holiday meal. Useful for soaking up gravy, shielding taste buds from experimental side dishes, and bribing small children to eat their vegetables. Mashed potatoes arrive in a serving bowl the size of a small bathtub, topped with a slick of butter so shiny you can see your anxious reflection. The gravy ladled out of a picture shaped like a turkey has a life of its own, oozing into every corner of your plate with a single-mindedness that's both impressive and a little alarming. For vegetables, there are peas, always slightly overcooked as tradition demands, and perhaps a carrot soule, daring you to discover just how many eggs it takes to make a root vegetable bounce. And then dessert. The table boasts a parade of pies, each one with a crust tough enough to withstand a proof. Nuclear test. There's pumpkin, pecan, apple, and that one pie filled with a glowing green custard. Origin unknown, possibly acquired through back channels during the space race. Someone always brings fruitcake, which sits untouched, except for the brave or the guilt-ridden who carve off a polite sliver and spend the rest of the evening quietly chewing. The meal itself is an endurance event. Plates are filled, emptied, and filled again. Conversations drift from high school to, do you remember the Christmas when the dog ate the stuffing? To, is it safe to eat the green jello? Everyone tries to look interested as Uncle Harold tells his annual story about buying a snow tire in 1947. When the meal finally ends, you sink back in your chair, one button undone, staring at the remnants of a feast that could have fed the entire block. The leftovers are already being packed into Tupperware, some destined to become turkey surprises for weeks to come. As you survey the table, part battlefield, part art installation, you realize that Christmas dinner is less about what's eaten and more about who's there to eat it. And if the gelatin mold survives another day, well, it's probably immortal anyway. Your holiday soundtrack is dominated by crooners, novelty songs about donkeys, and a lingering fear that your neighbor will start caroling in the nude again. It's the 1950s, and the airwaves are an endless blizzard of holiday tunes. It starts the day after Thanksgiving and doesn't stop until the last pine needle is swept from the living room carpet. Radios hum from every kitchen, TVs blare from every living room, and the brand new hi-fi console in the den spins one vinyl platter after another. You try to fight it, but resistance is futile. By mid-December, every part of your brain has been colonized by Bing, Nat, and the chipmunks. First up, the runners. Bing Crosby, Perry Como, and Dean Martin set the mood with voices smoother than eggnog and about as likely to put you to sleep if you sit too close to the heater. White Chris Timass oozes from every speaker, so ubiquitous that by New Year's you're convinced it's on a government loop. Your parents dance gently in the kitchen, humming along, and for a moment, the world is soft and snow-globed, wrapped in velvety nostalgia. You're not sure if Bing is singing to you or to every American with a radio, right? But it doesn't really matter. The result is the same, cozy, dreamy, and just a little bit smug. But then things get strange. Enter the novelty songs. You hear Dominic the Donkey braying from the radio. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas sung with terrifying sincerity. And all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth, which sparks uncomfortable memories of your own dental mishaps. The records skip, the kids laugh, and your uncle rolls his eyes so hard you fear for his optic nerves. Somewhere, a distant relative threatens to dust off his accordion for an impromptu version of Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. You pray the weather turns before that happens. Of course, the real wild card is your neighbor, Mr. Kessler. Every December, he claims caroling is his civic duty. Last year, he donned a Santa hat, a pair of galoshes, and infamously nothing else. At least according to neighborhood legend, he hit every house on the block, belting out jingle bells in a key not found in nature. Children were traumatized, adults exchanged nervous glances, and the local newspaper briefly considered an expose on seasonal joy and the decline of public decency. Meanwhile, your own family attempts to build the perfect Christmas playlist. The record stack is a time capsule of every musical impulse the 1950s can offer. Choral groups singing as if salvation depends on it, jazz bands that sneak jingle bells into every solo, and that one recording of Silent Night that mysteriously skips every time you get to the 3rd verse. No one knows why, but it's tradition to pretend not to notice. Eventually, the hi-fi breaks under the strain and you gather around the TV instead. Holiday specials feature stars in garish sweaters lip-syncing for dear life, and everyone acts like rocking around the Christmas tree is a spiritual experience. For the finale, the cast sings Old Lang Synes with all the sincerity a studio audience and a punch bowl full of ginger ale can muster. By the time the last record is shelved and the last carol has been sung or howled or wobbled, depending on Mr. Kessler's mood, you're left in a gentle haze. The house is quiet, the air smells faintly of pine and vinyl, and you realize that beneath the layers of nostalgia, cheese, and musical chaos, you wouldn't have it any other way. As you tuck in for the night, the echoes of Bing and braying donkeys blend together. You drift off, knowing tomorrow will bring another chorus, another dance in the kitchen, and hopefully another year before Mr. Kessler's nude caroling makes its seasonal return. Half of America is on the road. You're trapped in a station wagon with relatives, thermoses of coffee, and a radio that only plays Jingle Bell Rock on loop. Let's set the scene. It's a crisp December morning, and your holiday journey begins at the crack of dawn. You pile into the family station wagon, a land yacht in gleaming two-tone paint with a back seat big enough to lose a small child for most of the trip. There's luggage strapped to the roof, blankets in the back, and a growing sense of dread as you realize just how far Grandma's house really is. The car is a biosphere of holiday chaos. The kids are already fighting over who gets the window seat and who has to sit on the hump. Someone will inevitably have their feet in the wrong place. A suitcase will tip over, and the dog who was promised a short ride is now sprawled across 3 laps, panting hot breath into the general vicinity of your snacks. The aroma is a delicate blend of peppermint, wet wool, and the faint whiff of bologna sandwiches packed hours before anyone was actually hungry. Your parents settle in up front, with Dad gripping the steering wheel in white-knuckled determination and Mom reading out directions from a map the size of a bedspread. "We'll take the scenic route," Dad says, which is code for, "We'll be hopelessly lost by the first rest stop." The thermos of coffee is passed forward and back. Each sip grew colder and more desperate. If anyone needs to use the bathroom, it's always at the exact moment you're surrounded by nothing but open highways and signs for the next gas station 85 feet ahead. The soundtrack for this adventure is, of course, Jingle Bell Rock. It plays on an endless loop, broken only by bursts of static commercials for used cars and the occasional outburst of "What? Are we there yet?" from the back seat. At some point, everyone joins in, partly out of boredom and partly because resistance is futile. Your parents try to make conversation. Who can spot the most holiday billboards? But it inevitably devolves into a high-stakes contest of sibling sabotage. Out the window, the American countryside rolls past in a blur of frosty fields, billboards for fruitcake, and the occasional house festooned with enough lights to be seen from low Earth orbit. Every small town claims to have the world's largest Santa, the world's best hot chocolate, or mysteriously, the world's only live reindeer. You beg your parents to stop at every roadside attraction. Sometimes miraculously, they say yes. You stretch your legs, eat a suspiciously old candy cane, and take a picture next to a plywood snowman with paint so faded it could pass for a ghost. Back in the car, spirits rise and fall with the temperature of the heater, which works only in two modes: Arctic blast or tropical storm. Grandma's house draws closer. The last hour is an odyssey of snack crumbs, spilled cocoa, and half-hearted attempts at car games. The closer you get, the more everyone starts to rehearse their best behavior, at least until the inevitable bickering over who gets the first slice of pie. At last, you turn down the snowy street, the porch light glowing like a beacon of civilization. The station wagon sighs to a stop. Everyone stumbles out, blinking in the cold and clutching gifts, as if you've just crossed the Yukon. Grandma greets you at the door, arms wide and oven mitts on as if she's been waiting since last Christmas. Inside, the chaos continues. More relatives, more food, more noise. But for one brief, peaceful moment, you're together, safe and warm, and even Jingle Bell Rock sounds like the perfect welcome home. Suddenly, giving is a national sport. Americans discover the joy of abundance, and also the terror of running out of Scotch tape at midnight on Christmas Eve. It's the 1950s and prosperity is the new normal. Factories hum. Store shelves overflow, and the American dream is delivered right to your door by the friendly neighborhood mailman who, let's be honest, is just trying to survive one more season of Sears catalogs and fruitcake deliveries. Families who weathered the storms of the Depression and World War II now find themselves in a world overflowing with stuff. Gadgets, gizmos, toys, and appliances fill every corner. Each promises to make your life easier, happier, and at least 30% shinier. Gift giving isn't just a family affair, it's a competitive sport. You're expected to buy presents for everyone: family, friends, teachers, mail carriers, and that one neighbor who once watered your beans. The pressure mounts. You study store windows like a scholar, cross-checking wish lists, braving the crowds, and battling your way through mountains of tinsel just to find something special. Suddenly, every interaction feels like an opportunity for strategic generosity. You hand out Christmas cards like a gambler at a poker table, not knowing which gesture might win you that elusive title of most thoughtful. Charity, too, gets the mid-century upgrade. Collection cans rattle at every storefront, and local radio hosts urge listeners to donate coats, canned goods, and spare change for causes near and far. You toss your loose nickels into the Salvation Army kettle, smiling at the bell ringer, and immediately feel lighter and holier, at least until you remember you still haven't bought a present for your third cousin's dog. At home, the mood is festive and slightly frantic. Wrapping paper flies. There are bows on the cat, Scotch tape in the carpet, and at least 3 pairs of scissors that disappear every 5 minutes. If you're lucky, you remembered to buy extra tape. If not, you'll find yourself at the drugstore at 11:59 p.m. On Christmas Eve, begging the clock for a single roll, as if your entire holiday spirit depends on it, which of course it does. With prosperity comes abundance, and with abundance comes the urge to share. You send cookies to the school, fruit baskets to the office, and Christmas cards to everyone in your address book. Children's wish lists grow longer by the hour, fueled by glossy catalog pages and television commercials featuring wide-eyed kids clutching toys that look engineered by NASA. You worry briefly about whether the true meaning of Christmas is being lost, but then you remember how good it feels to see a child's face light up, even if it's just for a new pair of socks. There's a rhythm to generosity, a dance of giving and receiving. Distant relatives send boxes filled with hand-knitted scarves, mystery jams, and the occasional item you can't quite identify, but feel obligated to display somewhere in the living room. Office parties become exchanges of mugs, calendars, and novelty pens. Each gift is a testament to the sacred 1950s art of thoughtful, but not too personal. Even the TV gets in on the action with holiday specials and commercials that remind you over and over that happiness is found in giving, and also in toasting with the right brand of instant cocoa. By Christmas morning, the living room is a blizzard of torn wrapping paper and cheerful chaos. The gifts themselves are secondary to the feeling, one of plenty, of security, of being surrounded by people and things you love, even if you still don't know who sent the neon pink oven mitts. As the holiday winds down and you quietly vow to buy more tape next year, you realize the real gift is not the abundance itself, but the tradition of sharing it. In post-war America, generosity isn't just a virtue, it's a celebration, a game, and the secret ingredient in every memorable Christmas. America decides Christmas is too good to keep to itself. Through movies, TV, and the occasional World's Fair, the holiday gets a global makeover, complete with fake snow in tropical countries. Let's set the scene. It's 1958, and the United States has just discovered its greatest export isn't cars, corn, or rock and roll. It's Christmas. In a world rapidly shrinking thanks to air travel, radio, and the newfangled magic of television, America's Christmas, a shiny, blinking, tinsel-draped extravaganza, is just waiting to be unleashed upon the unsuspecting planet. At the World's Fair, there's a Christmas pavilion so bright it requires sunglasses. Even indoors, dignitaries and tourists wander through a manufactured wonderland of aluminum trees, animatronic elves, and a mechanical Santa who wishes you happy holidays in 7 languages, only 3 of which are accurate. Giant snow-making machines roar into action, dusting the palm trees outside with a layer of frosty optimism, while local kids who have never even seen a snowflake attempt to build snowmen that immediately collapse in the tropical heat. Hollywood is hard at work behind the scenes, exporting Christmas through the silver screen. Movies depict families with glowing windows, generous heaps of presents, and emotional reunions set to orchestral swells. The rest of the world watches, spellbound and slightly confused. In France, children start requesting stocking stuffers. In Australia, someone writes a song called White Christmas Down Under, which mostly involves crocodiles in Santa hats and plastic icicles melting by noon. Television takes up the torch, broadcasting American holiday specials across continents. Suddenly, German families are gathering around the TV to watch Rudolph's shiny nose save the day. In Japan, department stores compete to build the biggest, most elaborate window displays. Santa is reimagined with a katana, and Frosty the Snowman becomes a surprising J-pop sensation. In Brazil, the Christmas pageant now features a dancing Santa in shorts and sunglasses, tossing tinsel like confetti at a carnival. Even the marketing machine gets to work. Coca-Cola runs ads from Helsinki to Hong Kong, reminding the world that Santa's preferred beverage is not milk, but a nice cold soda. American companies export their finest plastic trees, battery-powered nativity scenes, and 6-foot inflatable reindeer to every market that will have them. Somewhere in Rome, a Vatican cardinal sized as he passes a department store Santa, telling children to be good for goodness sake in English with a Brooklyn accent. Not every tradition translates smoothly. Fruitcake inspires international confusion. Eggnog is approached with caution and in some countries outright suspicion, but the spirit is infectious. By the 1960s, it's hard to find a place untouched by America's Christmas. If not the snow, then at least the commercials, the music, and the idea that the holidays are best experienced with as much blinking, buzzing, and wrapping paper as possible. For many, the globalized Christmas is a chance to add new traditions to the old. English Christmas crackers now share table space with cranberry sauce. In India, paper lanterns glow beside artificial mistletoe. Somewhere in Egypt, a family attempts a Christmas roast while the neighbors wonder if the aluminum tree in the window can pick up Radio Luxembourg. Of course, there are skeptics. Some say it's just American commercialism dressed up in tinsel and carols. But even they can't help smiling when the lights go on. The carolers start up, and the smell of something sweet and possibly overprocessed wafts from the kitchen. So as night falls in cities from Paris to Peru and artificial snow drifts through shopping malls while Bing Crosby croons from hidden speakers, you realize Christmas isn't just an American holiday anymore. It's the world's greatest and maybe weirdest shared celebration. A little bit local, a little bit exported, and a whole lot of sparkling, glowing tinsel-wrapped joy. You wake up to a living room that looks like a wrapping paper explosion. There's a suspicious electrical smell, and you realize you may have plugged too many things into one outlet. Let's set the scene. It's still dark, but you're awake. Jolted out of bed by the shrieks of siblings or your own childhood muscle memory, you sprint down the hall in your pajamas, feet sticking to the carpet with every bit of tinsel you carried from the tree last night. The living room is a war zone of anticipation and poorly concealed gifts. Stockings are bulging. Mysterious lumps await beneath the tree, and every flat surface is covered with glitter, crumbs, and the kind of electrical wires that make you quietly pray the fire department is on call. There's an unspoken rule. Christmas morning chaos must begin before the sun even considers rising. Blurry-eyed adults shuffle in behind the kids, clutching mugs of coffee as if they're life support systems. The dog, sensing excitement and the possibility of contraband turkey, bounces between piles of presents, knocking over a bowl of hard candy that will now become a permanent part of the carpet ecosystem. The sound is incredible. Paper rips, bows, snap, and shouts of, "Look at this!" fill the room as everyone competes for attention. The wrapping paper multiplies exponentially, covering every inch of the floor and making even the family dog difficult to locate. For every carefully wrapped gift, there are 3 that look like they were wrapped by someone wearing oven mitts and possibly blindfolded. The gifts themselves are a showcase of 1950s technological optimism and questionable safety standards. Toy trains zip around the tree, sparking with every revolution. Slot cars, robots, and dolls with mechanical voices spring to life, sometimes all at once. The smell of ozone isn't just poetic, it's a real byproduct of running 4 new electric toys off a single overloaded outlet, all under the watchful gaze of your aluminum Christmas tree. You're not alone in your electrical concerns. Dad is kneeling behind the TV, untangling a spider's web of cords while muttering about blowing a fuse. Someone's new science kit includes actual wires and bulbs, prompting Mom to start reciting the fire escape plan just in case. Meanwhile, the cat is methodically batting every new ornament under the couch where they will be found in July. Breakfast appears in the form of cinnamon rolls, oranges from the bottom of stockings, and the stray marshmallow that's been welded to the radiator since last night. You eat on the couch, surrounded by the detritus of unwrapped dreams and enough cardboard to build a small addition on the house. The phone rings. It's Grandma calling to check if you like the socks she sent. She'll know if you're lying. The conversation is interrupted by the shrill whine of a toy siren and the thump of someone testing the durability of a new fire truck on the wall. In the background, the radio switches to Jingle Bell Rock for the 47th time, and Dad reminds everyone not to step on the train track if they value their toes. As the morning settles into a sort of joyful exhaustion, you sit amidst the rubble. The presents are opened, the stockings are emptied, and the only thing left in the living room is a mountain of wrapping paper and a suspiciously warm power strip. There's a sense of satisfaction, accomplishment, and mild trepidation as you eye the outlets and wonder if you'll need to reset the circuit breaker before lunch. But for now, all is well. The tree glows, the coffee is still hot, and everyone is wrapped in the happy humming afterglow of Christmas morning. You survived another year, and if the house is still standing, that's just a bonus. The tree is shedding needles. The lights are tangled. The only thing left in the fridge is half a fruitcake and a sense of regret. Congratulations, you've survived. January in 1950s, America is the morning after the world's longest party. The wrapping paper avalanche has been shoveled off the living room floor. But there are still mysterious glitter patches on the dog and a rogue ribbon stuck to the ceiling. The house, once alive with the cheerful buzz of toy trains and electric carols, now sits in a stunned silence, punctuated only by the occasional thud of a dried-out pine needle dropping onto the carpet. You tiptoe into the living room, stepping over a mangled plastic reindeer, and what may or may not be a piece of the turkey's wishbone, the aluminum tree, once the centerpiece of your mid-century universe, is now drooping slightly, its branches losing their shimmer, its color wheel abandoned in a tangle of extension cords. Real trees are even worse, dry, brittle, and leaving trails of needles so sharp they could be used in an escape plan. Each step is an adventure in pain management, as you realize that socks are no match for the forest of prickly leftovers scattered across the floor. Packing up the decorations becomes a negotiation with fate. You promise yourself you'll be organized this year. Every strand of lights will be carefully wound, every ornament boxed with the care of an archaeologist uncovering lost treasures. Instead, the lights collapse into a Gordian knot. The tinsel tangles into a metallic tumbleweed, and at least one glass ornament shatters in your hand, showering you with the glittery judgment of Christmas's past. The nativity scene is missing a wise man again, and you're pretty sure the baby Jesus is riding in the Barbie Corvette with a plastic Santa. You sigh, sweep it all into a box labeled Musk. Good luck, and promise to sort it out next December. The fridge, once overflowing with casseroles and pies, is now a cold graveyard. The ham is gone. The potatoes have solidified into a geological formation, and all that remains is the fruitcake, impervious to time and apparently immune to human interest. You poke it just to see if it's still edible. It is, but only in the technical sense. The kids who lived on cookies and fudge for 2 weeks eye celery with suspicion and demand to know when dessert is coming back. The mailbox brings a new wave of bills, reminders of the generosity that felt so good 3 weeks ago, but now seems like a fever dream. You make solemn vows about spending less next year while leafing through a catalog for post-holiday sales. The radio switches back to regular programming. Bing Crosby is gone, replaced by the news, which feels both alarming and dull. After a month of relentless cheer, life returns to its regular schedule. School starts, work resumes, and you rediscover all the hobbies you abandoned for the pursuit of the perfect wrapping job. The neighbor, whose light display could be seen from the moon, sheepishly removes his inflatable Santa in the dead of night. Social obligations dry up. No one is caroling. No one expects you to deliver cookies. The silence is both a relief and a tiny bit sad, and yet in the quiet you start to miss it. The chaos, the clutter, the music, and even the endless parade of novelty songs about donkeys and missing teeth. You tuck away the memories, sweep the last of the pine needles into the trash, and settle in for the long winter. The next holiday season feels impossibly far away, but you know it will come with all its blinking, buzzing, and boisterous joy. For now, you can rest knowing you survived. January may be dull and cold, but somewhere in the house, a piece of tinsel still sparkles in the light, promising that Christmas will return. Ready or not, you start to realize most of your favorite old-fashioned traditions were invented last Tuesday by a marketing team, but somehow it all feels magical. Anyway, let's set the scene. It's the week after Christmas in 1950s America, and you're already missing the chaos. You flip on the television and there it is. A black and white rerun of a holiday classic filmed about 6 years ago. Now spoken of with the reverence usually reserved for ancient family heirlooms. Somewhere a marketing executive is toasting himself with eggnog, delighted that Americans everywhere now consider his brainstorm to be timeless. The truth is, most of what you remember as tradition was manufactured in a boardroom, the Christmas tree in the living room, Victorian import, but the aluminum version with a color wheel is pure 1950s. The idea that every child needs to sit on Santa's lap at the department store, that's courtesy of a clever window dresser in Chicago, 1949. Even the notion of writing letters to Santa, complete with product numbers circled from the Sears catalog, was heavily encouraged by the Postal Service and probably the US toy industry. Then there are the movies. They feel like they've always been there, but they're barely old enough to remember their own lines. It's a Wonderful Life was only a few years old before it started its annual migration onto every TV screen, shaping the collective American soul. The stop-motion Rudolph is a new invention, but it's already achieved the status of folklore, cementing in your mind that reindeer not only fly, but also sing and suffer from workplace discrimination. You catch yourself getting sentimental about songs that didn't exist when your parents were kids. White Christmas was a hit a mere decade ago, but now it's sung with the same nostalgia as if Bing Crosby wrote it while fighting at Valley Forge. Even Jingle Bell Rock, written by two men who probably never rode in a one-horse open sleigh, is already a classic, stuck on repeat in your memories and your radio. But here's the magic trick. You know, on some level that this is all a bit of a con. a confection whipped up by advertisers, TV studios, and pop songwriters who needed to fill 3 minutes of airtime. You know it, and you don't care. Because as you sit with a plate of leftover cookies, watching a movie where snow falls perfectly on cue and families reunite against impossible odds, you feel the tug of something real. Maybe it's just clever editing and a little fake snow, but it works. The nostalgia kicks in, even for things you never actually experienced. It's the birth of the good old days, only no one quite remembers when those days were supposed to be. Your parents talk about simpler times. Your kids already pine for last year's model of Christmas, and your neighbor insists that things were better when we were kids. Even though they indulge in the myths. You buy the stories, you sing the songs, knowing they're mostly brand new, but letting them grow old and golden in your heart. Because Christmas, after all, has always been about making memories, even if some of them come with a copyright notice. You settle back, smiling at the TV, the old classics flickering in the dark, content in the knowledge that a good story like Christmas itself never really gets old. Other countries begin to copy the American Christmas. Al's suitcase. In Tokyo, department stores display aluminum trees so shiny you can see your future reflected in their branches. Future you staring in awe. As a mechanical Santa with perfect English wishes, you a merry kurasumasu. Window displays boast snowmen wearing sunglasses and penguins that sing jingle bells in Japanese. The kids aren't sure what's happening, but they know one thing. It looks expensive, and it probably comes with a gift-wrapped robot. Over in Sydney, Christmas falls are presented with polite confusion next to a spread of traditional Finnish pastries. What's in it? They ask, slicing into the dense, mysterious loaf studded with Technicolor fruit. The answer, of course, is mostly sugar, a little alcohol, and a surprising amount of American optimism. Still, the spirit of Christmas is infectious. Even if the fruitcake isn't across the globe, American holiday movies play on televisions from Paris to Peru. Little kids hang stockings and write letters to Santa, comfort, and excitement that's hard to resist. Countries that never saw snow before now pipe in fake flakes at shopping malls. Local Santas adapt, some on camels, some on motorcycles, some waving from parade floats while tossing American candy into the crowd. The music follows too. Jingle Bell Rock bounces over loudspeakers, Cooner's serenade in unfamiliar languages, and novelty tunes about hippos or runaway grandmothers find strange new life in foreign lands. Of course, this year, almost everyone everywhere is invited to share in the same big, bright, loud, and slightly bonkers celebration. So tonight, as you drift off, surrounded by all the gentle absurdities of the season, sparkling tinsel, crying Santas, and dreams of snow where there's only sand or rain, remember that Christmas, once local, now belongs to the world. And whether you're waking up in Boston, Berlin, or Buenos Aires, the spirit of American Christmas is there, humming in the background, re-horrors, but for the fabled Christmas bonus. Everyone knows someone whose cousin's boss handed out actual gold coins in 1948. Today, the myth is alive and well. You daydream about what you'll do with your bonus. A turkey big enough to feed 12, a brand new toaster, or dare to hope, a single month without worrying about the utility bill. The envelopes are distributed with a solemn ceremony. The boss stands at the front, tied a little looser than usual, offering a speech about until they're safely at their desks, or better yet in their cars, to find out whether Christmas will feature an extra pie or an extra trip to the discount bakery. There's an unspoken etiquette, no comparing out loud, but plenty of strategic, oh how generous and well. It's the thought that counts, delivered with a smile tight enough to crack a candy cane. For the lucky few, it's a windfall, a crisp bill or two, enough to cover a nice dinner, and a few stocking stuffers. For others, it's fare, still half frozen and starting to sweat in its brown paper bag. A holiday mug emblazoned with the company logo, a practical gift and subtle reminder of who really paid for the punch. One year, someone gets a wall calendar with inspirational quotes from management, which will haunt the break room until March. Regardless of the bounty or lack thereof, the Christmas bonus becomes a conversation starter, a source of endless speculation, and the basis for that year's best office gossip. Goodwill. And maybe, just maybe, it'll cover the last roll of Scotch tape you forgot to buy for Christmas morning. As you leave work, you share a knowing look with your coworkers. You survived another year, another speech, another envelope. The Christmas bonus is never quite what you dreamed, but in true 1950s fashion, you turn it into laughter, resilience, and if you're lucky, a turkey that fits in the oven this year. Nothing says love like being forced to stand perfectly still in matte jam. The baby has decorated himself with tinsel, and Dad is already muttering about needing just one good shot for the card. The sweaters are itchy, hand-me-downs from Christmases past, or department store finds that appear to have been knitted from steel wool and unresolved family tension. There's always a debate about stripes or reindeer, Santa or snowflakes, classic red or the neon green that makes everyone look vaguely seasick. Ultimately, Mom wins and everyone emerges in match Christmas depending on your posture. You stare into the lens, blinded by the prehistoric flashbulb, which goes off with the subtlety of a small thermonuclear device. There's a chorus of blinking, sneezing, and if you're lucky, only minor tears. The baby is inevitably caught mid-scream or mundane, immortalized forever as the ghost of Christmas chaos. The dog chooses this moment to yawn, scratch, or demonstrate his disapproval by turning away from the camera entirely. It takes roughly 24 hours, where she's sunk halfway to the floor. When the photos are finally developed, the result is a masterpiece of barely contained chaos. Half the family grinning, one or two caught mid-sob, and at least one child glaring in protest. But somehow the image is transformed through the lens of nostalgia and a generous helping of holiday delusion. It becomes the official story of your family's Christmas. Mom uses it for cards, proudly mailing a copy to everyone she's ever met. Young heart of the holiday. Because in the end, it's not about the flawless card or the coordinated outfits. It's about coming together, enduring the discomfort, and smiling into the chaos, knowing that for better or worse, this is the memory that will last. Every December, the office, the school, and your mailman all want you to donate canned peas, your loose change, or at least a good excuse. In the 1950s, giving is mandatory, and nothing says holiday spirit like a public tally board and an S of donating the lima beans no one wants versus the brand name peaches you secretly covet. At work, the charity competition is just as fierce. There's a box in the lobby collecting toys for less fortunate children and a jar on the break room counter for spare change, labeled in red marker. Every penny counts. You consider sneaking in a few nickels late at night, hoping to bump up your department's total without making eye contact with the head of accounting, who guards the donation JEs. What does it say about your character if you include a can of creamed corn? Somewhere in the neighborhood, Mrs. Bid has donated gourmet chocolates and imported Italian cookies, and everyone knows it. The church is no refuge. The Sunday sermon includes a gentle reminder that those who have much are expected to share. The offering plate makes the rounds with extra holiday enthusiasm. And the children's choir collects mittens, scarves, and the occasional lonely sock to hang on the tree to see who's winning the race for holiday virtue. Children come home in tears because the Smiths brought in a whole case of soup while you, despite your best efforts, have contributed a modest, if sincere tower of canned green beans. There are hushed playground negotiations. Trade you my corned beef hash for your mandarin oranges. Alliances form, reputations are made, and the spirit of giving is carefully tallied for all to see. Through it all, you feel the pressure to perform the true spirit of generosity. Quiet, persistent, a reminder that even canned peas can make a difference. And that's one holiday tradition you wouldn't trade for anything, not even Mrs. Bid's imported cookies, atomic toasters, electric carving knives. Nothing says progress like buying household appliances as gifts, ensuring everyone in the family has the chance to get lightly electrocuted by January. It's the 1950s, and Christmas shopping has entered the space age. Gone are the zine ads boasting that a better life starts with a better appliance. There's the countertop blender, more engine than kitchen tool, promising milkshakes, soups, and possibly a small hurricane if left unattended. The electric carving knife with its twin serrated blades gleams menacingly in its display, daring you to try it out on something other than the roast. Even the humble toaster has gone atomic, chrome-plated, multi-slotted, and ready to render your Wonder Bread, a perfectly golden ace, or at least to Aunt Mildred's grumpiness. But the reality is never quite so sleek. You wrap each gadget in layers of glossy paper, tie on a bow, and add a card with your neatest handwriting. To Dad, who deserves only the best in rotary egg-beating technology. Come Christmas morning, the living room is a mad scientist's workshop. Boxes are torn open, instruction booklets are scattered like confetti, and batteries are in such high demand they could be used as currency. The metal. Dad tests the limits of each appliance, determined to discover what else it can do while the kids gather around, equal parts curious and concerned. As January dawns, the gadgets settle into their new lives. Some, like the blender, become beloved members of the family, churning out milkshakes and the occasional loud surprise. Others, like the electric carving knife, quietly migrate to the back of the kitchen drawer, emerging only when the mood for culinary danger strikes. It's a bit dangerous. And as you drift off to sleep, the gentle work of the coffee percolator in the background. You wonder what next year's miracle invention will be, and whether you'll need a fire extinguisher to unwrap it. Let's wind down for the night. Drifting back from a land of aluminum trees and jingles that still haunt the radiation between stations, you've survived the endless loop of carols. The artificial snow drifting through department stores, the tangle of extension cords, and a tea having the brightest lights or the most perfectly color-coordinated living room. It was about inventing joy year after year, even if you had to buy it from a catalog and assemble it with instructions written by someone in a hurry. So tonight, as you tuck into your clean, warm bed with electricity that mostly stays in the outlets and indoor plumbing that never freezes, maybe send a small thank you to the mid-century dreamers who sold the world a vision of Christmas that was part hustle, and Christmas is snoozing in a sea of crumpled wrapping paper. Rest easy, knowing you don't have to clean up the tinsel until tomorrow. Good night.